What up, guys? Your boy Quake back with a brand new episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast, number 332. I hope all of you are doing amazing. I'm doing an insane amount of research on a lot of different things, mainly health related. I know that doesn't sound typical hip hop type stuff, but I've had some family issues with some health stuff, so I've been kind of really researching a lot, deep diving into that stuff. And a lot of the hip hop stuff has gotten really I don't want to say boring, but, we got spoiled in the beginning of this year with a lot of stuff, right? With the Diddy stuff that's going on, and then the Drake and Kendrick stuff, and then Quavo, Chris Brown, and, just a lot of different stuff going on. So now it's been like really reduced. A lot of the stuff has just kind of been a little bit of news here and there, nothing really major. And I've been kind of out of it for a while, to be honest with you guys. I'm not even going to lie. I've been out of it for a little bit, mainly because personal family things that's going on. But other than that, hopefully things pick up in this month, next month, some new stuff comes out, with obviously the Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg album. They did a preview of a track, the Sting sample that they used, and it sounded really good. So I can't wait to listen to that album when it releases. I'll do a live stream of that for sure. But let's get into the news. Lil Durk has officially pleaded not guilty. Let's go over the article. Lil Durk has pleaded not guilty in his murder-for-hire case in a Los Angeles federal courtroom after being extradited from Miami. Durk appeared in court on Thursday, November 14th, 3 weeks after he was apprehended while allegedly attempting to flee the country. The Chicago rapper was being held without bond in Florida and will now remain in Los Angeles Metropolitan Detention Center. A detention hearing has been set for December 12th to determine whether he will be granted bond, which prosecutors are strongly recommending against, which they always recommend against. He was hit with one charge of conspiracy to commit murder for hire over the alleged murder plot that killed the cousin of his rap rival, Quando Rondo. We'll keep our eyes posted on this. I think there's, some of the paperwork that I've seen, there's not really solid evidence that Durk had anything to do with this. Obviously, the flights being booked under OTF, which is clearly Lil Durk's company, is, there's a connection there. There's no denying that. But to say that, he was the one that made the calls and he did this and that, and he ordered this, he said do this, there isn't right now, from what we see, a lot of evidence on that. Obviously, the feds aren't going to reveal all the cards that they have. They're going to play this, bit by bit, and then figure out when, most of the information we're going to hear during the trial, right? But I think he might actually get bond. I would not be surprised if he got bond, unless they got a reason for him not to get bond. Like for Diddy, right, for example, they didn't want to do bond because the judge denied the bond because they think Diddy has a history of manipulating or threatening people involved. And there is a history of that. So to them, they're worried that this guy's going to manipulate witnesses, manipulate people that sued him, and threaten them and do a bunch of things, right? Or that he's going to have a bunch of people come out of his house when he's not supposed to. That's why they offered, hey, we're going to have 24/7 surveillance. No females can come to his house. Nobody besides his girlfriend, his family. I was about to say kids, but his family, his children, stuff like that. And they offered the house. They offered all this kind of money, but they said, hell no, because Diddy has a history of somehow manipulating things. And we're going to actually be talking about that a little bit later, how he's manipulating where he's at in the jail system right now. 50 reacted to Lil Durk, and he backs Lil Durk in beating the murder case after he hired a huge, high-powered attorney, which is Drew Finley. So let's go over the article. 50 Cent is feeling confident about Lil Durk beating his murder-for-hire case now that the Chicago rapper has enlisted the help of high-powered lawyer Drew Finley. In an Instagram post on Thursday, November 14th, 50 shared a photo of Finley, who has successfully represented the likes of Cardi B, Lil Baby, DaBaby, and more, and noted that Durk is in good hands. 50 said Lil Durk got Drew Finley on the case. He's sharp. If the prosecution didn't cross their T's and dot their I's, he gonna hit the bricks again. Yeah, when you got money, man, hire the best of the best. That's the only way to do it. As we saw with Young Thug, I forget that lawyer's name already, but that lawyer reduced Thug's sentencing and beat a fucking RICO case. Any type of money you would offer up to get your freedom. There's just nothing that I would never put a cap on that. But that's the news relating to Lil Durk, and we'll see what happens moving forward. An update on a Nelly charge that happened a while ago. And it's a positive update. Let's go over it. Nelly will not be hit with any charges in connection with his August arrest for possession of ecstasy and driving without insurance. On Wednesday, November 13th, TMZ spoke with a rep for the St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney's Office who told the outlet, "We don't believe the facts in this case warrant the issue of charges." The rapper's lawyer, Scott Rosenblum, also commented Wesley Bell, the prosecuting attorney, and his office looked at all the circumstances and after a fair and impartial review of the evidence, declined to prosecute. As previously reported, the Hot in Here rapper was at a Missouri casino on August 6th and won a significant amount of money, which he then went to cash in, only for the police officer to say they needed to do a background check first. Yeah, we talked about this and how fucked up that is. After running a background check, it came back that Nelly had an outstanding warrant stemming from a 2018 traffic stop in Maryland relating to driving without proof of insurance. He was then handcuffed in the middle of the casino and reportedly paraded out in front of the public. And then they ended up, finding some type of ecstasy. But all those charges have been dropped, and he's moving on, which is great. I mean, what more can you hope for? So, yeah, great news on Nelly's end of things. Updates on Diddy running his jail cell. Basically, he's the king there. So let's go over it. Diddy has been placing secret phone calls, intimidating witnesses, and planning public relations strategy meant to taint the jury pool in his upcoming trial. All from inside a federal jail, argued prosecutors in a new memo. Prosecutors are paying no bullshit here. They want this guy locked up forever, and they're trying to find, looks like they found him manipulating things even in the jail cell that he's in. The 30-page memo was filed on Friday, November 15th, in response to Diddy's latest attempt to be granted bail. There is a hearing on the matter scheduled for next Friday, November 22nd, to see if he can get bail. The document claims that since Diddy has been incarcerated, he has used a variety of means to evade Bureau of Prisons monitoring of his communications in violation of jail rules so that he could make calls that evade surveillance and speak to people he wasn't authorized to reach out to. He's basically using inmates to help him do whatever he wants to do. His methods, the government claims, included using PAC, which is a phone access code, numbers belonging to other inmates to make calls, using three-way calls to contact other individuals, including individuals who are not on his approved contact list, and using unauthorized third-party communication system to send messages to numerous individuals, including unauthorized contacts. Part of the reason for this, the memo continues, was that so Diddy could plan a public relations strategy in order to influence the jury pool. Basically, public relations strategy is he wants the public to think of him very highly and as a good person. And he is going to do that. There's going to be a lot of money put into changing his image because right now, a lot of people do not like him. They hate his guts. They think he's responsible for literally everything. Tupac's murder, potentially killing his wife, Kim Porter, all these things. The Shyne shooting, they're thinking it's actually Diddy that did it. It wasn't Shyne. Even Shyne has a documentary that came out where, and we're going to be talking about this a little bit later in the podcast, where he talks about how he didn't take a $10 million bribe and it was all Diddy. He's the devil. So there's a lot of media out there destroying Diddy's image. And Diddy is going to work and put millions of dollars into making his image better. So that when the jury goes in there, because nowadays the jury is going to be influenced in one way or another. And the jury, obviously he wants the jury to be influenced in a positive way so that when they go in there, and those 12 people make their decision on whether Diddy is guilty or not, they still see him in a positive light. So he's going to spend millions upon millions of dollars doing this. And why wouldn't he? It's just going to help his situation, and he's got the money to do it. As you can see in this whole thing that they filed, the prosecutors are saying he's influencing even the jail cells. He's getting people to get him to make calls that he's not supposed to make. So that's why I'm talking about like his manipulation tactics. That's why they didn't let him out. That's why the judge said, hey, I don't care, denied bond. Because imagine if he's doing this in jail, imagine when he gets out, how he could manipulate people, threaten people, all this stuff. Continuing on, it says the defendant is explicit about his intention to use public statements to alter public perception. The memo reads, it points in particular to a social media campaign around Diddy's birthday. Citing this post in particular, which the memo says the mogul enlisted family members to plan and execute at his carefully curated direction. The defendant from within the jail then monitored the analytics, i.e. audience engagement, and explicitly discussed with his family how to ensure that the video had his desired effect on potential jury members in this case. And I think they're talking about the happy birthday post and how, it just makes him look like a great person, blah, blah, blah. And they're saying he's using these social media posts specific times to make himself really look good. And he's looking at the analytics. Are people engaging with this a lot? If they are, and they're showing a lot of sympathy and love, that changes the perception of Diddy, right? The document also makes mention of Diddy's alleged relentless efforts to contact potential witnesses, including victims of his abuse who could provide powerful testimony against him. The defendant's goal is to blackmail victims and witnesses either into silence or providing testimonial helpful to his defense. But this is what the prosecutors are saying, right? We don't know 100% if they got proof of this stuff. A lot of this stuff is speculation, like a social media post about his birthday to manipulate, public perception. Yeah, could that be a thing? Of course. Or it just could be a post about his birthday and he just doesn't care about the public perception, which I doubt it, right? Any celebrity at that high of a status has PR teams, has lawyers, has at least 30 people that look over what his image looks like in the public. And right now his image is destroyed. I want to say 70 to 80% of people do not like Diddy, period. The 20% that's there, there's always going to be people that like a certain amount of celebrities. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the person's done. I mean, there's still support for R. Kelly, despite all the evidence of this guy doing horrific things to females and underage girls. There's still people that support R. Kelly. Doesn't matter. Free R. Kelly, they say, all kinds of shit like that, right? Those are people that you're never gonna sway their opinion. When Diddy posted that video of him apologizing about the Cassie video coming out, there were people saying, we can't judge Diddy. This is only God's, thing, and this is his journey. And come on. And this is a female that said this. It wasn't even a male. Like a male, I would kind of expect a little bit, right? A little bit more. But the female was saying this, and she was like, you don't leave it up to God. Like, I don't leave things up like that to God. He put his hands on a female, beat the shit out of her. I don't care if you're drunk. I don't care what the excuse was. You do not do that, period. There's no excuse for it, period. And you'll get comments supporting, because people have an emotional attachment to some of these celebrities, right? Because these celebrities have been a part of their lives since they were young till now they're adults, right? Diddy's been around since the 90s till now. So a lot of us, including me, but not as much because I really wasn't that big of a fan of Diddy. I never watched Making the Band or any of his shit that he had. Did I listen to some songs? Yeah, there's like that song, Bump, Bump, Bump. I don't know. There's, I don't want to know, Mario Wayne's with Diddy. A lot of the stuff that Diddy was featured on. I liked a lot of the Last Train to Paris records, like I'm Coming Home and Hello, Good Morning. Like I would listen to some Diddy stuff, but it wasn't like a huge part of my upbringing in music. I never really gave a shit. Same with R. Kelly. Like, yeah, there's some stuff R. Kelly that I listened to, Ignition, singles, right? Slow Wind and all these type of records that were singles. Great. But, I would have a good way to gauge, like for me would be 50, right? If something happened with 50 or Eminem or the artist that I really grew up on and they did something, that's where, I could gauge how I would react to something. But even with 50, right, there was years ago, there's a report that he allegedly broke a bunch of stuff and his girlfriend, Daphne Joyce did that whole lawsuit and stuff. That was a little spectacle, but I didn't really, there's really nothing, there's no proof, right? People can accuse you of things, and that's what I always stood with that when it comes to Diddy as well. There's no proof until the Cassie thing came out, right? I was still in the middle because, a lot of people can sue you for things, and until there's solid evidence, then you can't, there's no denying it at that point. And with the Cassie video footage of him putting his hands on her, that's solid evidence. And at that point I said, fuck this guy. There's nothing really more to discuss, right? So with if I saw Eminem, right, there's proof, right? Let's just say he made songs hating his mom, and then all of a sudden there's video proof of him beating his elder mom to a pulp and giving her bruises and damn near killing her, right? He's a piece of shit at that point. There's nothing to discuss. As much as I like the guy's music, as much as I grew up on him, I would be automatically, I'm never listening to this guy. I don't care about this guy's music anymore. That's how strong of a stance I would take. Does it suck? Is there an emotional attachment to that because I grew up with that person's music? Yeah, so I can understand some people kind of having this emotional attachment, but you got to realize, man, at the end of the day, this is a human being. You shouldn't be worshiping these people, these celebrities. You shouldn't be worshiping none of the stuff that they're doing. They're human beings. If they fuck up and do something wrong, you should treat them the same way as everybody else. But unfortunately, some people are stands and they don't think like that. They think really, really, it's like a religion to them, some of these artists. They have to support them no matter what. But for me, unless I always am in the middle with any type of lawsuit, any type of thing relating to domestic violence and these type of things, rape and all this stuff, because there needs to be some type of evidence. There needs to be solid, because you can't just write people off. Doesn't matter on who it is, celebrity or not, just a regular person or not, right? I was watching some video footage on Dr. Phil, and this was a guy got locked up for, I think, 10 years, and this woman falsely accused him of rape. And on Dr. Phil, they were supposed to meet up again, so he got released. They're supposed to meet up again, and she wanted closure and him to forgive her. She came on the show crying. He was like, I forgive you after all these years, blah, 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 blah. Me personally, if I got falsely accused of rape, 10 years of my life went away, and I got put on Dr. Phil, I would slap the dog shit out of her in front of everybody. I don't give a fuck. In front of the cameras. And they can say whatever the hell they want. I have the right. Nobody will be able to judge me on how I react to that. I don't give a fuck, because 10 years of my life down the drain because you falsely accused me of something. And there are a lot of cases like that don't get discussed, where people get falsely accused and years, decades of their life go to waste over something they did not do. So with these cases, that's why I'm very, very, I'm not saying I'm not believing the person, but I need some type of evidence, right? And with the Diddy situation, with the Cassie video coming out, that's as clear as evidence to me that he's done majority, not saying every single thing she's accusing him of, but majority, I'm willing to bet 80% of the stuff she's accused him of, he's done. And that's why I don't have this sympathy. I'm not in between. Once I got the solid evidence, hey, it's fuck this guy, and there you go. It's that simple. But yeah, the prosecutors are putting out so many things to make sure he doesn't get bail, and this is insane for him to be breaking all these jail rules, manipulating people in the jail, manipulating people outside, the public media, trying to make his image better, which he is going to do. That's what his lawyer is going to advise. That's what his PR is going to advise. They're going to put millions. So don't be surprised if when the date gets close to the trial, you start seeing more positive things about Diddy. Do not get surprised, because he will bribe people, and people will accept the $500,000, $250,000. I'll give you $1 million. They will accept this money, and they will try to make Diddy look as positive as possible, and say, oh, he's a family guy. That was a mistake with Cassie with that one incident at the hotel. He was under the influence. I mean, shit happens. Like, there's even some celebrities right now that are doing it. I don't know if they're getting paid or if they just genuinely believe that. Yeah, we'll keep our eyes posted and see what happens, man. I doubt he's going to get bail. The next upcoming hearing is Friday, November 22nd, so that's not really that far away. We'll see what happens. Continuing on, Shyne. So Shyne compares Diddy to the devil and denies accepting $10 million bribe in the 1999 shooting. Let's go over the article. Shyne once looked at Diddy as the devil during their strained relationship following the 1999 shooting that he ultimately went to prison for. The rapper turned politician is making his rounds to promote his new Hulu documentary, The Honorable Shyne, which I got to watch. Ahead of its premiere on November 18th, appearing on the Stephen A. Smith Show. On Thursday, November 14th, Shyne opened up about his previous thoughts on Diddy and denied the long-standing rumor he was paid off to take the fall. So let's play this clip.
They want to know what happened to Shyne himself. In your words, what happened to you?
Well, in my words, I said so many years ago, back in 2001, I knew that was my first XXL cover. I had about 6. And the cover is Death Before Dishonor. It was me talking about not snitching on Diddy and not getting him in trouble to get myself out of trouble. I said that 20 odd years ago. So I've always maintained in every interview I did until recently, when I healed and I moved on and I forgave. But for years, I was saying, what a creep I thought he was and how he destroyed my life. And at one point, I thought he was the devil. But because of the power of Diddy, which is so loud as far as a pop culture icon, nobody listened. So I moved on. And I pivoted my life to healing, to forgiveness, and to taking accountability for what I can control. And I can't control what someone did to me decades ago. I can't control them not wanting to pay reparations, not wanting to make right. You know, that people say, oh, Diddy gave me millions to go to jail. Nothing. Probably made two what I thought were offensive contributions over the last 20 something years, which led to a breakdown in the relations. But I moved on. So yes, was I the sacrificial lamb? Of course. Did I take the fall? Yes. There was no quid pro quo. There was not, listen, we're going to have $10 million waiting for you when you come out. I'll just do the right thing. I did that on my own, and I've been saying that. It's not anything new. But in the documentary, just like in this interview, I can't say to you, Stephen A., I don't want to talk about Diddy. Let's talk about me becoming the prime minister. I can't talk about only what I want to talk about. I have to be fair and transparent to the audience. But I've been saying the same thing if you do your research.
Yeah, that was amazing interview. I got to watch the full thing. But Shyne, talks about also how, when he got sentenced to 10 years in prison, the first night that he actually spent in prison, he got on his knees and didn't question God. He basically said, I didn't question you when I was driving Ferraris and I was living in these amazing luxury penthouses and, selling 1 million records of my album. I never questioned you about that. So I'm not going to question you about this process that I'm going through. He just asked for the power to be able to go through this process and be able to do it with still his mind intact. And, he's been through a lot of stuff, man. So I got to watch that documentary. It actually comes out the day of this podcast when it comes out. I don't know exactly what time, but I will be watching The Honorable Shyne, and I might do a review of it. I don't know, and see what it's about. But yeah, he said he didn't get any money, never got reparations for it. People think he got $10 million and that, Diddy looked out for him. He says none of that stuff happened. Diddy just moved on with his life, did his thing. I had to struggle with this throughout my whole life. And now, he's more of a, politician in Belize. And, Diddy's now in a different situation where he's now locked up. So karma comes back full circle. I do believe that Shyne took the fall for this. I know some people, Flex, I think, went on and said he isn't rolling with Shyne's version of events and refuted it and blah, blah, blah. But I don't see why Shyne, at this point, even though he's been saying this since he got locked up back in 2000, at this point would lie about the situation. And then the victim themselves said it was Diddy that did it. And then Shyne saying, I didn't do this. So I'd rather believe the people that were there at that event versus Flex, who hearsay, he said this, that. I don't think he was there at that event. I just don't think, he said this, when somebody tries to say they're scapegoat or they're used, it's been bothering him. I'm going to keep it a buck. Shyne, I love you, bro. I know what you've been through. You're a liar. You're a stone cold faced liar. First of all, you remember when D Block had beat you up? Yeah, he's just mentioning a bunch of random shit. So yeah, I love the interview. I can't wait to watch the documentary. Big props to Shyne. He completely pivoted his whole life, and he looks like a completely different person. I would not expect him to be an artist for Diddy. I would have never expected this type of pivot. I remember when he was even beefing with 50 at one point. Shyne running his mouth from PC. Oh, piggy bank. That shit is crazy. And then, Shyne got out, and then he tried music again, and just his voice wasn't the same, and people weren't rocking with it. So, he pivoted. And shout out to him, and much respect to him. Updates on Dame Dash and his Roc-A-Fella shares. They have officially been purchased. So let's go over the article. Dame Dash has been finally divested of his 1/3 share of Roc-A-Fella Records after a long-planned auction. And there's a surprising new owner, the state of New York. Yes, Dame's share was sold as part of a judgment in a legal proceeding against him. At the auction on Thursday, November 14th, the New York Post reported the winning bid, $1 million bid, was placed by an anonymous state government employee. A portion of that million will reportedly go to New York City to help collect Dash's unpaid child support. The reason the state bought the share of the company was, the article explains, so that they can in turn sell it and put the money towards Dash's tax debt of $8.7 million. Attorney Chris Brown, that's funny, and there's an attorney named Chris Brown, not the singular, but attorney, who represents two of Dash's alleged creditors, said the auction is over, but the work is not complete. Mr. Dash's legacy is now New York State property. I will work with New York State and New York City as the next phase of ownership of the shares. The potential value of Roc-A-Fella Records was a continuous point of leading up to the auction. In September, Dame accused Jay-Z of attempting to disrupt the auction. The city of New York requested a stay in the auction following comments made by Hove about the copyright ownership regarding about his seminal debut album, Reasonable Doubt. So, yeah, he's going to need $8.7 million one way or another. So I don't know what's going to happen moving forward. I've never seen. I guess they're going to. So the New York State's going to do their own auction, which is kind of, I think, I don't get the point of that. So they bought an auction. They're going to do their own auction to potentially get more money out of it. I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning for that is. I don't know if they're trying to just speed up the process or they want to make their own money off of it. Who knows? But we'll keep our eyes posted. It seems like a step forward. I don't know. I've never been in these type of situations or even really know much about it. But yeah, shout out to Dame Dash, man. It looks like he's getting his money figured out in this situation. Kanye West has been hit with a new lawsuit. Let's go over it. Kanye has been accused of engaging in lewd sex acts and sharing naked pictures of Kim Kardashian to a former employee in a new lawsuit. Murphy Aficionado, who was hired by Kanye as a project manager in 2022, has filed a lawsuit against the rapper and fashion designer, accusing him of inappropriate conduct during work meetings, according to Rolling Stone. In the lawsuit, Aficionado details an alleged November 2022 incident at the Beverly Hills Hotel, where he was summoned by West only to find the rapper topless and out of breath with his pants unbuttoned. Okay, upon entering the hotel room, Aficionado claims he saw Ye's wife Bianca Censori topless and believes the couple had just had sex. When he tried to make an exit, the Good Music founder allegedly commanded Aficionado to sit down and stay before retreating back into the hotel room and leaving the door ajar as he and Censori had loud sex. The lawsuit claims that Kanye later came out the room wearing a t-shirt with a swastika on it and aggressively asked the project manager, "Don't you like my shirt?" The rapper then allegedly showed Aficionado naked photos of his ex-wife, Kim Kardashian. The former employee also details another uncomfortable meeting where he was greeted by Kanye West and an unnamed famous NFL wide receiver wearing nothing but towels as they were getting ready for massages. He alleges that he waited outside while West and the athlete took turns having audible sex with the masseuse. The lawsuit additionally claims that Kanye West would subject Aficionado to anti-Semitic tirades and racist lectures. Often those outbursts involved how Jews controlled the Kardashians. Other times, Ye recounted how Jews were going after him and his money. The complaint reads, "The Jews are out to get me. They froze my bank account. The Jews got Kim Kardashian and my kids," he allegedly once told Aficionado, adding the Jews convinced Kim Kardashian she was Jewish masters. Aficionado was fired by Kanye West last year after his controversial Donda Academy school, which he unsuccessfully attempted to relocate to a new campus in Chatsworth, California, closed down. Aficionado is suing the runaway rapper for discrimination, hostile work environment, labor code violations, failure to pay wages, and wrongful termination. The lawsuit also names Ye's Yeezy Company and Donda Academy School as defendants. Kanye has not yet responded to the allegations contained within the lawsuit. Kardashian has also not commented on the lawsuit. The 47-year-old has faced a number of lawsuits in recent months over alleged workplace misconduct. Yeah, he's had quite a few of these lawsuits. So I don't know, man. Where there's smoke, there might be fire. I don't know. Like I said, I always stay in the middle with these situations. I do know that off all the stuff that Kanye's been doing the past, I want to say 4 years, maybe 3-4 years, you know, his image has gotten tainted, and a lot of people have loved him a lot more because he just speaks his mind. But a lot of people have also felt like his image has gotten tainted. So this is just like, this could be something just added on by people because people are like, okay, this guy's image is destroyed. Let's just keep adding on stuff. Same with Diddy, right? His image is destroyed, so why won't a bunch more people attack? It's the perfect time to do it, right? So I don't know. There's no evidence right now. There's no proof. A lot of these lawsuits are just accusations. We'll see what happens moving forward. Maybe there's video footage that comes out. Maybe there's evidence. Maybe there's, really clear evidence. I don't know what's going to happen with these lawsuits. Is he going to settle them? Are they going to go to trial, all these lawsuits? He's got quite a few that's stacked up now, 4 or 5, I want to say. But we'll see what happens moving forward. Offset, he has gotten into a fight with a French rapper. Let's go over the article. Offset was involved in a brawl in Paris with French rapper Gazo and his entourage on Wednesday, November 13th, over an alleged financial dispute. Footage obtained by TMZ shows the former Migos rapper exiting the hotel when he is confronted by a large group of men at the entrance. Things quickly became heated, and Offset security was forced to hold him back as an all-out brawl kicked off, during which the rapper could be heard shouting, "I'll fire your ass up." The melee fast grew hectic, and one of the French rapper's entourage even kicked a member of Offset's crew in the head. Offset eventually broke free from his security and kicked one of the French men before he was forced back inside the hotel by his detail. Gazzo's entourage then attempted to force their way into the five-star hotel, with a woman suffering a nasty fall in the street during the violent struggle. Disgusting, man. Let's play this clip.
Discret.
So basically, these French artists paid $150,000 for Offset to appear in the music video of their song that they have together. They demanded the return of their money because these French artists felt like the demand wasn't met. They didn't meet their requirements with the music video shoot, so they wanted their money back. Offset said, "Hell no, I'm not giving you the money back. It is what it is." According to TMZ, the issue was caused by Offset being paid $150,000 for a feature, a music video appearance, but his laziness resulted in Gazzo demanding his money back. Offset reportedly refused to oblige, which is what led to the confrontation. Unfortunate, man. I think somebody pays you for something. If you agree to a certain price, show up. I don't know who's telling the truth, but I would not be surprised, man. It's messed up for me to say this, but unfortunately, a lot of rappers are just unprofessional. I deal with this when it comes to trying to get interviews with certain artists. I've reached out to them. We make a time. It never happens, and that's happened to me probably 50 to 100 times. I don't think if you're a big it doesn't matter. If you're a big platform, small platform, there's only a few artists where it was actually on time. Like Benzino, big props to him, man. Time was set. He was here 20 minutes earlier than the actual time. Ready to go. Perfect. Kid, we only had one mishap, and that was because his manager is overseas. So, that I can understand, right? Nothing goes perfect. You can't plan something that just goes perfect. But there are some artists that we've rescheduled probably 20 times, and they just don't come. They say I'm going to come at this time. I get ready. I do all my research. Everything is set up because we have to set up extra cameras, extra lighting. Everything is perfect. Boom, I'm not coming to do the interview. Something came up. Or they just don't respond at all. I have to hit them up again. So I hate being put in that situation. I feel like a lot of hip-hop artists just aren't professional at all. And I would not be surprised if Offset was one of them. No disrespect to Offset, but he might be, because these things just always, I don't know what it is. I don't know why, right? That's why, and I always bring it back to 50 because I just know the story. You saw the Give It Your Die Trying documentary that I made. They always said 50 was on time, professional, got his work done, and got out the way. That's why 50 is at the level that he's at. That's why Jay-Z's at the level they're at. All these artists that are really, really high up there and made hundreds of millions of dollars, they have some type of professionalism about them. And yeah, you can make lots of money, but are you at a top tier? You can only be at the top tier if you're very disciplined and professional. And unfortunately, a lot of these artists aren't. They make music, they make millions of dollars, and they don't give a fuck. They end up becoming lazy, don't do proper interviews, and when they fall off, that's when they start to, start trying to do interviews and trying to get back on the trending, tab of music. And it's just, at that point, it's like, I'm not going to name names. There was an artist I interviewed way before this podcast, way before Diverse Mentality. Just very unprofessional. And this artist now is not popping anymore. He hasn't been popping for years. And it's because unprofessional. Very, very unprofessional, disrespectful. You can't be like that with people, man. Doesn't matter if you're the top of the top or you're at the bottom of the bottom. Respect people's time because we can never get our time back. So do not fuck over people's time. And I get it. Life happens, though, right? Everybody is warranted some type of thing happening. You can't just be like, oh, you have to be on time every time, no matter what. Like, things happen in life. That's just how it goes. But if you get paid to do something and you can't do it at that time, either give the money back and say, hey, you can pay me later on when I can figure this out. Or say, hey, contact them immediately. Hey, I know I have the money. We're going to reschedule at this time. And if I don't show up the second time, then I'll be like, hey, take the money back. I'll know better as the months go on or weeks, whatever. I would personally, if I don't make it the first time and the person's concerned, I would give the money back. But if they're like, hey, let's reschedule, it's all right, we can redo another time, then okay, cool. It's all on the other person. The person that paid me, to me, I've always been like, it's on you. What do you want? Do you want the money back and we can reschedule later? You can pay me again later. Or do you want me to hold the money? I've had incidents where people let me hold the money and say, hey, let's reschedule. And then I've had incidents where, they want the money back and they maybe never do their deal again. I've done sponsorship deals where it's not on my end that I don't deliver, but what they want in the video and how the length and stuff, I can't deliver at that moment, right? I don't want to half-ass videos to you guys for a sponsorship deal. That's never going to happen. I've always rescheduled those. And sometimes they don't pay. Sometimes they pay a little bit earlier before the deal gets done. So that's just one example. There's a lot of examples, right? In business, you have a bunch of stuff like that happen. But if Offset really, really didn't show up and didn't do his part, then yeah, they should get their money back. If he just did a feature, let's just say it was $75,000 for the feature, give him back $75,000 because you didn't show up for the video, you don't want to do it, or just have the discussion, be like, hey, I'm sorry I couldn't do it this time. Let's figure out another time to do it, and you get to keep the money. So it's really that simple. But unfortunately, a lot of middlemen get involved, a lot of street people get involved, and then fights like this break out, and everything escalates for no reason, right? And Offset should really think about that because Takeoff unfortunately died for no reason, just a dice game that went really bad, and anger, temper, people pulling out guns. Very unfortunate, but we'll keep our eyes posted and see what happens. Maybe the Offset and the French rapper speak on this incident. Let's talk about music. And Drake and Chris Brown, their collab No Guidance, has officially sold Diamond, meaning 10 million units. And Drake is officially, I think, the artist with the most Diamond records, not counting Post Malone. But yeah, this song's gone 11 times platinum, which is Diamond, and that's insane. I think that's Chris Brown's only Diamond song, but he's had a lot of his songs updated. With you, that's 6 times platinum. Indigo, which is, I think, the single, that's platinum. Let me see some of these older records. Privacy, that's 3 times platinum. Chris Brown's got a lot of records. Double platinum on Take You Down. Let's see what these other records are, what they're doing. With you. Party with Usher and Gucci Mane, 3 times platinum. Under the Influence, 5 times platinum. Sierra, Chris Brown, How We Roll, gold. Interesting. But yeah, No Guidance, obviously, Drake and Chris Brown getting together, doing a record. And that record's fire. They've had a lot of lawsuits with this song, though, too. So, yeah, there's some artists like Takaya Dorr and Mark Stevens just recently filed a lawsuit against Chris Brown and Drake for at least $5 million over claims No Guidance stole from their 2016 track, I Got It. So they've got a lot of lawsuits. But Diamond, man, round of applause. Drake is getting Diamond singles like it's nothing at this point. Eventually he's going to have Diamond albums. But, hey, I'm not saying do we count them. Obviously, you got to count it. It just is what it is. But streaming has helped Drake a lot. Drake was struggling to get #1 singles. He had #1 albums and was selling well with albums no matter what. But singles-wise, same with William Roberts, a.k.a. Rick Ross. The guy struggled to get a platinum single. Finally, or a platinum album, sorry. Finally, when streaming came, his debut album went platinum. So a lot of these artists have been saved by streaming. Their numbers have been really, really jumped up a lot. And we're talking about first week sales and how if they matter that much. I think, like I explained in the Corday video that I was explaining, a lot of the sales don't matter nowadays. I think for newer artists, they do a little bit more, but for the older artists especially, it doesn't matter. They were doing physical CDs, which is worth 100 times more in my eyes. I think one physical CD is worth 100 streaming sales of albums. Not 100 streams, but I'm saying whatever the metric is for streams to equal one sale of an album, it's worth 100 of those versus one physical CD being sold, because it's a lot harder to sell physical CDs and get people to get out their house and go purchase a CD. But regardless, man, round of applause to Chris Brown and Drake. Nothing to take away from this. Great record. I love this No Guidance record. I'm surprised they haven't done more music. I don't recall them doing more music. I could be wrong about that. But I remember they had beef a little bit in the early 2010s. So we might have never gotten, this type of song. But hey, Diamond Records. Shout out to Drake. Shout out to Chris Brown. Round of applause to them. Speaking of music, let's get into it. Lil Baby 5 a.m. and Insecurities dropped 2 singles. He says he's getting ready to drop an album. And Lil Baby has had like major success with his albums, his old albums, and especially that, I think, what's that album called, man? My Turn. Huge album that's always been selling. I gotta actually see what is gold and all this stuff. Like what sales is My Turn at, man? I really want to see that because that's been on the charts for a minute and it's been selling and all kinds of shit. So let's see. Pride is the devil. I'm just seeing that right now. They must double platinum. Lil Baby, shout out to Lil Baby. Let's see. Let's see where My Turn's at, man. And let's see where the last time that was updated. Really curious because My Turn was a album that was, he's literally talking about My Turn. Like it was his turn at that point. Drip too hard, don't stand too close, you can fucking run and drown off this wave. Damn, that shit is diamond. That went diamond in September 2022. That's cool. Why don't we have the My Turn out? Where's the My Turn? Yeah, we pay. So the album is 4 times platinum, and this was in February 2022. So that's over two and a half years ago. I'm willing to bet this is probably 6 times platinum right now because My Turn has been an album that's always been charting and selling. So, yeah, Lil Baby's back to go on a run. A lot of people have said he fell off, but we'll see what happens. The Weeknd dropped a track called Open Hearts. Nicki Minaj and Juice WRLD, All Girls Are the Same Too, featuring Halsey. Denzel Curry dropped King of the Mischievous South album. Cordae dropped the Crossroads album. Young Nude and Pierre Bourne dropped Samir 2, the album. MF Doom dropped MM.Food, 20th Anniversary Deluxe Version album. Tyga dropped Don't Be Fooled. WizKid dropped Keys. The Kid Leroy and Quavo dropped Slow It Down. Linkin Park from Zero, an album. Interesting. Tory Lanez dropped Prison Tapes. Quandarado dropped Here for a Reason, the album. I need to check out Quandarado too. His music has been really diluted because of all the stuff that's been surrounding him with the King Von murder. But I think he's a pretty great artist, man. He's got like great tracks here and there that I've heard from him. Album sales. Tyler the Creator is still number 1 with Chrome. I don't know how to pronounce this, man. Chromapokvia, whatever. Shout out to him. He's killing it. 103,000. He's been a number 1 for a minute now. So 3 weeks, I think, at number 1. Really good. Tomorrow, X Together, the Star Chapter is debuted at number 2 with 94,000. Sabrina Carpenter, Short and Sweet, number 3 with 66,000. Gracie Abrams, number 4 with The Secret of Us at 50,000. Chappelle Roan, number 5. The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess with 47,000. Number 6, Billie Eilish, Hit Me Hard and Soft with 46,000. Morgan Wallen, number 7, One Thing at a Time with 42,000. Taylor Swift, number 8 with The Tortured Poets Department, 42,000. Rod Wave, number 9 with Last Lap, 40,000. Number 10, Glorilla Glorious with 33,000. Says the SOS, number 13 with 30,000. BX The Plug, Take Care, number 14 with 30,000. Going down the list, Future Mixtape Pluto, number 26 with 19,000. Lil Uzi Vert, Eternal Take 2. That dropped down a lot from number 3 to 32 with 18,000. Eminem Curtain Call, number 37 with 17,000. Travis Scott, Utopia, number 41 with 16,000. Future Metro Boomin, We Don't Trust You, number 45 with 16,000. Damn, Mariah Carey's Merry Christmas album is already starting to stream, and Christmas is like at least a month and a half away. It's at 47 with 15,000. Damn, that jumped up on the charts. Tyler the Creator, Igor, number 48 with 15,000. Drake, For All the Dogs, number 49 with 15,000. I wonder how much that Mariah Carey album has sold, that Merry Christmas album. That is interesting. It's already back on the charts. I'm going to do an advanced search for this and see. Mariah Carey. Where's the album title? Merry Christmas. Let's see. The album is 9 times platinum, and the certification date was December 2023. So it's about to be a diamond album. Holy moly, guacamole. When did this album come out? That was interesting seeing it on the charts like that, man. Yeah, man, having a holidays type of record, you're pretty much set. Every time the holiday comes about, you're doing some type of numbers, obviously. All I want for Christmas is you. All right, let's see. When does this album get released, man? Damn, son. October 28th, 1994. I wasn't even born when this shit came out. Wowzers. That makes sense. Diamond for that? Hey, this album's forever going to feed her and her kids and whatever. Like, this is always going to get played the years go on. It's like Michael Jackson's Thriller with Halloween and, you know, like holiday type songs. Like, they're always going to play. That's interesting that it's back on the charts at number 47. 15,000 sold. Damn. It's probably going to jump up a lot higher. It's probably going to be in the top 10. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a number one album at one point. Again, because of the holidays. But hey, we'll see what happens. And that's it for today's episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast. As always, appreciate you guys for listening and supporting Spotify, Deezer, Pocket Cast, YouTube. We need to get our audio numbers a lot higher. Spotify has done this like new program where they're giving a lot more like analytics, and now I'm seeing a lot more, and we need to figure out ways to grow the audio. So yeah, please support on the audio end as well if you can. I know visuals, some people just like to watch videos. I get that. But even Spotify is having a video version of the podcast so you can post. So we're probably going to mess around with that and see if we can post videos on Spotify as well. So be on the lookout for that. Of course, all those streaming platforms support. Have an amazing night, day, whenever you're listening to this, and peace.